Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Battle lines drawn. On the eve of the historic impeachment trial, the fight over evidence and witnesses intensifies.
This whole controversy about whether there should be witnesses is really a question of, does the Senate want to have a fair trial, or are they part of the cover-up of the president?
President Trump's fate and future hanging in the balance.
We're achieving what no administration has ever achieved before. And what do I get out of it? Tell me. I get impeached.
New at noon, where the impeachment trial negotiations stand. But first, Detroit police search for the person or persons responsible for a double homicide this morning. That tops our newscast here at noon. You're looking at video from the scene. Police received a call about a car that had hit a fence. It happened just after 2 this morning. The responding officers found one man dead outside the car, a second man dead inside the car. Both suffered apparent gunshot wounds. It happened on the east side in the area of Waltham and Eastwood Streets. That's near 7 Mile. Victor Williams is there. He spoke to a person who was on the scene this morning. Victor, what have you been able to find out?
Yeah, well, good morning. This is where that car crashed right into the fence over there. Neighbors, they called the cops, and when the cops arrived, they found something more serious. They found a body on the outside and a body on the inside of the vehicle with multiple gunshot wounds.
Detroit police are investigating the overnight murder of 2 men in the area of Barlow and Eastwood Street. Someone called 911 Monday morning to report the single vehicle crash around 2 a.m., but when officers arrived, they found the bodies of 2 men believed to be in their 30s with multiple gunshot wounds. Officers blocked off surrounding streets for hours as people nearby started to come out of their homes, realizing something was wrong. One of those people was local minister Raymond Harris, who saw a woman grieving, distraught over the loss of her best friend.
My best friend. She was distraught. It was sad. The first thing comes to my mind is this. Were they saved? Were they Christian? Did they know the Lord? That's all I could think about.
And there are still a lot of unanswered questions here. We're not sure if these 2 men maybe shot at each other or if they were in the car and decided to come here after being shot at. We are working to find out that information. But teasing ahead to 5 p.m., there was something that Minister Raymond Harris did that shocked a lot of people that was out here. And you guys are going to see that coming up at 5, something that he did to help the families of the victims. Reporting live, Victor Williams, Local 4.
President Trump's defense team and House Democratic impeachment managers have filed their trial briefs. Tomorrow afternoon, the nation's 3rd Senate impeachment trial of a United States president begins. Now, we don't know how long this trial is going to last, but according to Senator Mitch McConnell, the Senate will work 6 days a week to move the trial along quickly. Strategies of both sides are coming into focus, but the big question remains, will witnesses be called? With the start of President Trump's impeachment trial tomorrow, the Senate majority and minority leaders are still battling over the rules.
Why is McConnell being so secretive about his proposal? He's afraid that more damning evidence will come to light.
House impeachment managers amplifying the Democrats' case to include new witnesses and evidence.
This whole controversy about whether there should be witnesses is really a question of, does the Senate want to have a fair trial, or are they part of the cover-up of the president?
But most Republicans seem focused on acquitting the president quickly.
This is the first time in history where a president has been impeached for a non-crime for events that never occurred. This is really unique, and I think every senator is going to take this very seriously.
Trump ally Senator Lindsey Graham says that's what the president wants too.
His mood is to go to the State of the Union with this behind him and talk about what he wants to do for the next rest of 2020 and what he wants to do for the next 4 years.
Still, moderate Republicans like Senator Lisa Murkowski are waiting for proceedings to begin to make a decision, emphasizing her desire for a fair trial.
I don't want this proceeding to be a circus. I don't want it to be viewed as a mockery or a kangaroo court.
President Trump's legal team filing formal responses to the Senate's summons, giving the very first glimpse into their defense strategy. They call the House articles of impeachment, quote, brazen and unlawful, an example of, quoting again, poisonous partisanship. President Trump also recruiting high-profile defense lawyer Alan Dershowitz to help make his case.
I will be advocating against impeachment of this president based on the constitutional criteria in the Constitution.
House Democrats once again highlighting why they believe President Trump should be ultimately removed from office. They filed their own 111-page trial brief, calling President Trump's conduct, quote, the framers' worst nightmare.
The mere idea of this would have appalled the founders who were worried about exactly that kind of solicitation of foreign interference in an election for a personal benefit, the danger it poses to national security. That goes to the very heart of what the framers intended to be impeachable.
As the trial opens, President Trump will be at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, where he is expected to deliver a speech to some of the world's richest and most powerful people. Let's talk some weather. It is sunny but cold out there. You're taking a live look outside through our Mount Clemens sky cam. Brandon, are we going to see a warm-up anytime soon?
Well, slowly but surely, and Steve, not so much today. Maybe only a few more degrees from what we see, and it looks like it should be warmer than it is. The sun is out on this MLK Day, but that snow certainly doesn't help. We have an Arctic air mass that we're enjoying, or not, but lower 20s with winds out of the northwest that are 5 to 10, and wind chills primarily in the teens the rest of the day. May dip into the single digits in a few spots, but more than anything, it's tough to get out there and enjoy the snow. Just make sure the kids are bundled up and layered up. We have middle 20s outside your door and a few more clouds, parts of our west and north zone with that northwest wind. But Steve, we do have warmer numbers in the 7-day and another weekend snow chance coming up.
A seismic impact. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. touched the lives of billions of people around the world, and today we honor his legacy.
We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will.
How people across Metro Detroit are celebrating his dedication to justice and equality. This year, Martin Luther King Day falls on January 20th, today, the same date that the holiday was first observed back in 1986. And folks across Metro Detroit are observing this special day. About an hour ago, the 11th annual MLK Legacy March began at MLK Senior High School in Detroit. Kim DeJulio is there live with a look at this very special event. Kim?
Hey, Steve, that's right. Well, actually, it was a little bit behind schedule because they were doing things in the school, so it actually just kicked off. And behind me here, you can see the end of that march. Now, joining me live to talk about it is the class president of Martin Luther King High School. We have Carrington with us. Carrington, who do we have marching today to celebrate the civil rights activist, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.?
Today we have sororities, we have fraternities, we have the students of Martin Luther King, we have the principals, the people from UAW here to support us. We have a lot of volunteers, and we're just here just to live the legacy on.
It's exciting, it's powerful, it's very moving as well. Now, talk about what this means to you, and also can you talk about what was going inside of the school, what was going on inside of the school? That sounded really neat as well.
To me, this means that we all have to come together as one. For what Dr. Martin Luther King did for us, what John Conyers did for us, and everything that they fought for. Where my ancestors and many other ancestors came from and what they gone through. And then inside Martin Luther King, we had a tour this morning for everyone who wants to come out to join us. We had a tour where it was showing acts of what people back then actually went through and how they were treated. And we had the voting section, we had the slavery section, we had the court section, and then we just had a lot of exhibits to show the real truth, to give people the idea of what exactly we went through and why we're here today.
Thank you so much, Carrington. Let's get back to marching now. I spoke to some students earlier, and they said that what went on inside of this high school and what's happening out here was very powerful and a great way to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Reporting in Detroit, I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4. Back to you.
Boy, that is great. Thank you, Kim. This morning, Governor Gretchen Whitmer addressed the annual MLK breakfast of the Macomb County Ministerial Alliance in Harrison Township. The governor says Americans should not only honor the work Dr. King did when he lived, but continue his works in our public life today.
The aspirations and visions of Dr. King should guide the work that we do. It's not just politely disagreeing, it is calling out injustice. It is about ensuring that there is a level playing field for everyone.
To mark this important holiday, parades, walks, and events are happening all across Metro Detroit. We have a complete guide of events posted on our website, clickondetroit.com. The Martin Luther King holiday results in a number of government office closures today. Federal offices are closed, and that includes the post office. There is no mail delivery today. Most national banks are closed, and here in Michigan, Secretary of State offices also closed today. Still ahead, on edge and on alert, police in Virginia dealing with a massive crowd at a gun rights rally. This comes amid fears it would attract white supremacists and turn violent. We'll see what officials are doing there to avoid another Charlottesville. But up first, a mass shooting investigation. A gunman opens fire at a bar in Kansas City. At least 2 people killed, 15 others injured. The actions of a security guard helped prevent an even worse tragedy.